Today we got our guy Shane Regan from UChicago. How you feeling today, bro?
Feeling great. Thanks for having me on.
I don't want coach talk, you saying like, oh, we're just going to take it as any other day. Like, this your last year heading into March, bro. It's winter going home at this point. So what's Shane's mentality going into it?
Nah, he almost fell.
That's tough, Shane.
So after that, Final Four run, you go into the transfer portal. Talk to us about that, bro. What went into that decision to go into the transfer portal, but also what schools were looking at you? Like, what schools did you give other considerations to?
How deep is this rivalry? So you're in the spot and you see a Henry Vetter. Is it like, what's good, bro, or is like, don't talk to me?
Yeah, 5 NESCAC teams in the tournament, 4 UAA teams. So we'll see. Maybe we'll get those matchups. Maybe I'll get to play another NESCAC team again.
Last summer, Sam was talking spicy on the pod about, old Wesleyan would smack these guys by 20.
Definitely did not lose in the second round to RPI. I'll say that.
Welcome back to another episode of Not Even D2. I'm your host, KJ Allison, here with my boy, as always, my co-host, Naruto Perdomo. What's good, bro? How you feeling?
Doing good, man. Last week of school before spring break, so just finishing this week out strong before a little reset.
Yeah, I feel that. It's March, bro. It's the best time of the year. The tournament right around the corner. Spring break, like you just said, MLB starting up, NBA getting to its highest point, about to be playoffs. So everything's good on this end, but I know you're going to Puerto Rico. You got any specific plans for, like, in Puerto Rico during spring break, or are you just going to be chilling at the crib?
Yeah, I'm going to be staying with my mom while I'm out there. For those who don't know, who listen to the pod, my mom pretty much lives in Puerto Rico. She splits time, but she goes to New Hampshire and then Puerto Rico. So I'm going to spend some time with her, just hang out with her, just get some sun, bro. We live by the beach, so just get some beach time too and just use it as a reset because I'm in my last 8 weeks of college, bro, after I get back from break. So I just got to finish strong. And also, I haven't been out there in a minute, so just enjoy the fam and stuff. So none like touristy planned. I go out there to chill.
Yeah, you got me jealous, bro. The sun is calling my name, but I'm about to be in New York the whole time. I'm sick. But it'll be fun staying out here just because my break's during St. Patrick's Day, and then also the NYU's women's team's probably going to be hosting next round if they keep advancing, so it's going to be lit over this way. Definitely want to talk about some tournament with you, but first, today's episode, we talked with Shane Regan. Shane Regan, bro, this is my guy now, but one thing is, bro is just a winner. Like, his freshman year, the Wesleyan team was really good. They were one of the top teams in the country, and this didn't have a lot to do with him. But last year, like, I think it was his senior year, yeah. So his senior year, they were 30-2, made a run to the Final Four, and then now this year, UChicago has been like top 5 throughout the year. So everywhere he's going, bro, the culture is set. He's been a winner. But just talk to me about this episode and Shane Regan.
Definitely shout out Shane for getting on. It was definitely a great episode. It was great getting to know him. But Shane's overall just a cool dude, pretty relaxed. Like, one of his good friends, Nikki Johnson, one of his teammates, he's the same way, pretty chill, pretty relaxed. And them two dudes, they killed over at Wesleyan, bro. Like, they're probably, them two, Sam Peak, them three are probably the 3 best players to come out of West last couple of years, bro, honestly. And like you said, he's a winner. He won at Wesleyan, they had that down year his junior year, but then really just turned it around for his final year at West. And now at UChicago, they've been ranked in the top 10, top 5 for the last 8 weeks at least. And him and Nick Roper have been killing. So I'm really excited to see what they do in the tournament, bro. And I'm excited for the viewers to get to know a different side of Shane.
Yeah, for sure. Shane, looking at it, he was first team preseason All-American for D3 Hoops. And he probably played up to that expectation. But one thing I don't want people in UAA to sleep on is Shane Regan for Player of the Year. I know that Emory won the conference and Ben Pierce had a great year, but Shane was doing a little bit of everything, top 5 in a lot of statistics. So anybody listening that makes decisions with the UAA, don't overlook Shane Regan's season. But yeah, let's talk about the D3 tournament, bro. We're definitely gonna be tuned in, gonna be doing a lot of episodes surrounding the tournament. I got a few pods that I'm looking at that really intrigued me, but I was curious if you want to talk about a pod, a sleeper team that you have, some of the guys you're looking at. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, for sure, bro. I think there's a lot of great teams in this tournament. But the one team, I thought Cortland honestly could win 2 games, watching them play. But Endicott, man. They about to make that run. I told you heard it here first. I'm not even D2, bro. They got a squad, bro. I watched their championship game against WNE. My boy Marcus, that's another guy we didn't drop the episode with, but Marcus, one of the best players in D3 easily, and Elijah right next to him is up there too. They have a great starting 5. And then I got to go with our guy, Coach Lynn and Tufts. My boy Josh Bernstein is a big over there. They obviously had lost in the first round of the NESCAC tournament, but Coach Lynn, obviously following the loss in the Sweet 16 last year, I think will get his guys motivated to finish strong. And probably those 3 teams. I still do like Cortland, but I just don't know. They're in the same pod as Endicott, so I don't know how far they could really go. Just because Cortland probably going to lose to Endicott if they played them in that second round. I'm not going to lie. So I got those 3 teams.
That was definitely one of the pods that I was looking like, oh, that's stacked. It's Endicott, Newman first game, and then Cortland and Franklin and Marshall. So both those games could be really competitive off rip. And then the second round, like you said, that's what I was looking for, is that Cortland Endicott matchup. My boy Zay, I'm going for Cortland though. My boy Zay Austin, he been bugging this year. He had like 40 the other day, so I'm definitely rooting for my boys at Cortland. Another pod I really like. I like NYU, Gettysburg, Wesleyan, and Lehman. And sometimes in these pods, like the first round matchup might not be as competitive, but really why I like the pod is that NYU Wesleyan game could be really freaking good. And in this episode, I was kind of talking like pro Chicago, but NYU guys know I jack them. Darius, Henry, Moose, those are my boys. So I like that pod a lot. If we get NYU Wesleyan in the round of 32, that just shows you how competitive this D3 season has been. Another pod I really like is Mount Union, Washington, and Jefferson, Christopher Newport, and Stevens. And really why I like that one is because Mount Union and Christopher Newport, we get that in the round of 32, a rematch of the NCAA championship a few years ago. I think it was 2023. If we get that rematch, I know Coach at Mount Union, he's definitely looking forward to that. Coach Phone Line, shout out him. And my sleeper team, last thing I'll say is Walsh U. And I talked with Coach Yuckham after the NYU game when they came over here. We talked for a while actually, and his team is really young, but they're kind of hitting their stride right now, bro. I mean, they got a freshman point guard starting right now, and he's tough. So that's my sleeper team. And I don't know if you have any extra thoughts before I got a question about the D1 March Madness.
I got one more sleeper team, Hood College. We got some dude that been following us on the gram, Javon Yarborough. He followed us on the gram I think when we first did a pod with Jerron Fairweather, I think. And he follows the page and stuff. But bro, he had 40 the other day in the MAC chip. Like he real, bro. He tough. So got to give a shout out to him. He's been showing love on the pod for a minute now. So I got another sleeper with that team too. I'm supporting them for sure.
And then I'll go through what UChicago has, so people got a little context into they want to follow Shane's season. Actually, we'll do that in the outro. For March Madness in the D1, I'm gonna just ask you who you got for the chip. So Michigan with these odds, plus 320, Duke plus 350, Arizona plus 475. Those are the top 3. And then Florida defending their national championship. They've been getting better throughout the year. They're plus 850. Houston plus 1100. And then some of the lower teams, Iowa State plus 1800, Kansas plus 2500, Purdue plus 3,000. So who you got, or what odds would you take based off those?
I like Michigan for sure. I don't want to say Florida, just have it be an easy answer, but they are hitting their stride at the right time. So I guess I'll just have to go with Michigan, Florida for now.
Yeah, it's cool. Like Michigan, they've been number 1 throughout the year. Duke just got number 1, and then Arizona won the Big 12 best conference right now. So the March Madness D1's gonna be fire too. I would probably say with those odds, I'm going to go Arizona, bro. I think they're battle tested every night in the Big 12. You got to be ready to get it. So that's my pick. And we're going to get into this episode with Shane Regan. Shout out to our boy for getting on. Real quick, so after we did the film breakdown, Riverside randomly just stopped recording. So it like skipped a part, but conversation still flowed really well. And don't forget to subscribe. Go follow us at Not Even D2. And we'll get into this convo with Shane Regan.
All right, we are here, man, back again for another episode of Not Even D2. And today we got our guy, Shane Regan from UChicago. How you feeling today, bro?
Feeling great. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. I'm going to just be completely transparent with everybody from the start. So we recorded with Shane a few weeks ago, and bro's Wi-Fi was not hitting. So we were like, we got to just do it again. But I feel like it kind of adds value now. You're getting ready for the tournament. We're going to switch up some of the questions and add a little bit of value. But what do you guys think? You think it adds or subtracts that we already recorded before?
I think it adds, bro. We got a little cool with Shane before. You know what I'm saying? You saw him play already, so I think it adds to it for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's run it back.
All right. My first thing is, so earlier I was watching Trinity versus Wesleyan. You catching that game?
Yeah, I watched it.
It was a tough one. Trinity with the 3-peat. I know that probably hurt you as a Wesleyan guy.
Yeah, no doubt. I was definitely rooting for the guys. They were looking good early, but Trinity definitely got them in that second half. But they'll bounce back. They're in a good spot. Proud of what they've done so far in the season, and I'm sure they'll make another run in the tournament, no doubt.
Yeah, they definitely. I mean, they got Coach Reilly, obviously, but my guy Zach, he's a good young guard that's coming up over there. I think they're gonna be set up for the future. Yeah, he's a killer for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, bro. So yesterday, tough game. What? I know that's probably not the way you guys wanted to go out. It would have been if you guys won. You share the UAA title with Emory, but you're not worried about that. You try and get back to Indy, but just talk about how you guys ended the season overview a little bit, but specifically what you think of going into the tournament.
Yeah, credit to Wash U. They played a really good game. They've definitely improved a lot from the first time around. We really outplayed them the entire game, and they obviously made the right adjustments offensively and defensively. And I think we weren't as sharp as we could have been, and we paid for it. We dug ourselves in a hole, kind of tried to climb back into the game. We cut it down a little bit, but ultimately it was their day. But I'm still super confident in our team and our talent, and we're still in a really good spot right now in the tournament. We'll be hosting Friday, Saturday, so super excited for that. And I'm sure we're gonna bounce back.
Bro, hosted last 2 years, because at Wesleyan you guys hosted all the way up until the Elite Eight, and this year I'm guessing probably for a majority of the bracket you guys will host too. So how does that feel to just play at the crib?
Yeah, that always feels great. It's a lot easier when you're kind of getting up in your own environment, and you're just walking right down the street to the gym, and you're playing in a place you're really comfortable playing at, and I'm sure a lot of people in the school will come out the Maroon Monsoon, so it'll be a fun environment. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, bro. And I want to talk about like how you individually are thinking. This year, your second year playing on really good teams. Obviously, I don't got to talk too much about last year's team. You guys were number one for a lot of the season. Crazy year. But this year, you guys, I want to say up and down, top 5 throughout the year, but still solid. And what I'm curious about, like, I don't want coach talk, you saying, like, oh, we're just going to take it as any other day. Like, this year, last year, heading into March, bro, it's winter going home at this point. So what's Shane's mentality going into it, bro?
Yeah, you have to really take it a game at a time. You can't look past anyone. In the first round, you could find yourself looking ahead, but every team that's in the tournament is going to be a really good team. So we're going to have to be really ready to go Friday. We're going to see what our pod is looking like tomorrow. I'm super excited for the selection show, but the mentality is from the jump. You have to kill. You have to be ready to go. And if anyone gets going, it could be their day. So that's really the mentality. Just prepare at a super high level this week and be ready to go for Friday.
For sure. Definitely excited to see who y'all play. I'll definitely tune into the selection show. But like KJ mentioned, you were on a team that was ranked before. Like Wesleyan was highly ranked. Obviously, this year you guys are ranked 4th in the country. So that poise that you're bringing, talking about taking one day at a time, playing one team at a time, is that the message that you're bringing to your teammates?
Yeah, you can't shy away from the bigger stage. The pressure could get to some people, but you really have to embrace it and kind of fall back on your preparation. Like I was saying, you can take it a day at a time. Have a great day of practice tomorrow, and just keep things rolling. And when game time comes around, we'll be ready to go.
A question for you, bro. So right when I was at the Chicago versus NYU game, I was definitely thinking like you and Nick kind of had a special chemistry on the court. You feel like you're that like you guys being roommates. I know you guys are roommates, so you guys being roommates kind of helps that, or it's just fun playing with an athletic big.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't hurt. We've really built the friendship starting from August on and off the court. We really get along, and I think we really complement each other's skill sets pretty well. I like to play really fast. I like to get out and go. He likes to get out and run. And you've seen his athleticism and skill at that size. Like, you're not really going to see that too much in Division III. Normally you're going to see that up playing in Division I. So we're super lucky to have him. And it's been super fun. So I'm just trying to enjoy every moment I get on the court with him.
Ruda, there was one moment. It was like pretty close in the NYU game, and you had Don Nick, and he missed the layup, and he got so tight, bro. He's like, "What the fuck, nigga?"
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, sometimes I can lash out, but I try to control my emotions. But me and Nick are super close, so he knows it's coming from a place of love.
Nah, that's what's up. That's what's up to see, like, that unity between the teammates and that connection too. Because you and Nick are like the 2 best players on UChicago, so you guys kind of have to be locked in and have that chemistry on the court. And I'm wondering, so obviously you guys are 2 grad transfers coming into the program. Give us and the audience just a little bit of an insight on like adjusting to the program, bro, adjusting to a new coaching staff. Like, I'm sure that was a little bit tough.
Yeah, it definitely was an adjustment, play style wise. Wesleyan versus Chicago. Chicago's a more structured offense, so that definitely was an adjustment for me. But the coaching staff's done a really good job helping me with that adjustment, and also making certain tweaks that kind of best allow Nick and I to do what we do best, get downhill, make plays, and make plays for other people. So it's been a fun challenge for me. Being around new guys, new players, and it makes it a lot easier when there already was an established foundation of really good players. They were in the tournament last year without Nick and I, so they really built a foundation of success, and I think Nick and I have helped build on that, and hopefully we're going to take it to another level. We plan on going obviously deep in the tournament. Last year they made it. Now we want to do damage in the tournament. It's been a while since Chicago's done that, and this is definitely the year we could do it.
Yeah, bro. Definitely rooting for you, Chicago. And I'm kind of curious. So you guys finished the season 21-4, I believe. Most of the teams you guys lost to were ranked, but I'm curious what if you were the other coach. Maybe you don't want to say this on air, but what do you think is like how can teams beat you, or how does Chicago separate themselves amongst like other Division III teams?
How can teams beat us?
Yeah, like what is something you guys think, like if we just clean this one aspect up of our team, then we'll be fine in the tournament, anything like that?
I think probably defensively, just being on top of our stuff on defense. Offense, we have so much talent. We're gonna find ways to score, but it's really an us thing. I don't know what they're thinking, but really being on top of our defensive schemes and understanding the scout, that's something that's going to be really important for us in the tournament. could potentially hold us back. But we're more than capable of locking in on that end too. So that's just going to be really important for us the rest of the way, I would say.
Yeah, I just brought that up so that we could transition into some basketball talk, but I want to talk about your game specifically. We're going to get into some film breakdown. Right now, you're having a great year, bro, averaging 19.6 points per game. That's top 5 in UAA. I think you're second in assists. You're top 3 in field goal percentage as a guard, so definitely want to go through some of these reads, get some of your thought processes. Let me know if you guys could see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
Ruda, is it good like how it's supposed to be? I bet.
Yeah, it's Gucci.
Say that. Alright. Right on this. Alright, boom. We'll watch it and then we'll go through it after. This is one thing that really stuck out to me when I watched your game in person is like if you get to this area right here, bro, it's really hard for people to stop you. Like you got great touch around the rim, but I'm curious when you're in this, are you just trying different things to see what the defender bites on, or do you have a specific thought process like before you go up?
Yeah, a big thing for me is when I'm around the basket, I always want to be playing off of 2 feet versus 1 foot. That's something that's been great for me. I watch a lot of guys like Jalen Brunson, like a Luka Doncic, like guys who don't necessarily have the athleticism to just go right up and go through guys. And yeah, I've just drilled this footwork so many times. Like every day I'm doing stuff like this, reverse pivots, like step throughs. So that's just the reps coming to show in the games. And another thing is just being super physical. So when I get the ball on a spot like that on the elbow, when I'm driving, I'm not driving around dudes. I try to go through guys. Like a bump like that, bump in the chest makes it a lot harder for the defender. That's another thing I think over time as I've gotten stronger and just more mature, I've gotten better at.
That was the one thing I noticed, bro. When I watched you play in the Wesleyan last year, I was just impressed because you're like last year I felt like downhill threat like all the time, like just literally like you're saying, being physical, playing through the contact, and you're seeing it here in the post. Like nobody wants to guard that shit, bro.
Yeah, no doubt. You gotta kind of look. A lot of drivers typically they're extremely athletic, playing above the rim. That's not me. I have 0 career dunks. So I mean, I'm well aware of that. So I'm trying to play to my strengths.
No, I feel that, bro. Hopefully Hampton don't get tight at me for this, but when we were watching the game, you had finished over NYU's big, and he's like, "Yo, how is he scoring? Like, dude is 6'9", bro. He's supposed to be throwing that." I'm like, "Yo, Hampton, you of all people should know. Like, if you got touch around the rim, like you get it up there, it could just be an easy layup, bro. You're not even worried about that big." But we'll get into this next one. Some of them are assist clips too, so some of them we don't actually got to break down intensely, but this is a tough one.
Yeah.
You kind of caught yourself in the air, but shout out Nick. That's a great seal. Great catch too.
Honestly, not the best play by me leaving my feet. I kind of didn't really have a plan. But that's another example of just playing at your own pace, trying not to rush yourself. And then when you have guys like Nick, that can make plays and make you look good.
All right, so we up 7 right now. Crunch time. We got to get NYU out of here. Moose knows it's love, but this is tough. Moose knows it's love. Punch.
Yeah.
And then the Sally, you was feeling yourself at that point.
Yeah, New York, I had to do the Selly. I had the Wesleyan guys. You could see them. I don't know if you could see them, but they're in the corner there.
Yeah, they're right here.
I had to do the Brunson Selly. It actually got a cool ass picture of that celebration, which was cool.
Word, that's tough. That was a hard move. Yeah, this is the one, like, this play right here, I'll let it play at first. Like, if you got some like, you saw in the first clip, you had a big on you, and it was still like, I'm trying to go through you, but now you got a small, like, a guard on you, so it's hell for teams trying to scout against Shane Regan right now. But real quick, I see you get into this this breakdown, like tween. What are you looking for when you get into your tweens?
Just playing at my pace, getting to my spot, and then looking at all the spots. You know, you got to look at all the four guys around. You can't just look at your man. I mean, I don't really look at my man too much. Like, I figure, you know, I can get to an advantage one-on-one. But you got to look all around. Like, here you see that guy's in the dunker to the right. So I'm not going to attack there. There's no space. Also, that guy in the corner could probably help. Here I'm seeing, you know, they're guarding Noah. That guy's kind of in half help. So, you know, if I drive left and I see his momentum come in, that's when you kick out. You'll get a three. And then, you know, you can kind of probe. And if you go through, you see how he goes out. So now you know you have the left side. And then from there, just being physical, taking your time, playing off two, similar kind of thing. And, you know, when you have a guy like right around my size, you know, probably not as strong, you know, you're going to be able to get to your spots. And once I get to my spots, you know, I have a few different moves I like to go to. And I'm pretty successful, like, once I get around the rim.
No, for sure. Go ahead.
I feel like, you know, when you're talking about playing at your own pace and I'm watching the film, you're using that hang dribble, bro. Like the hang dribble coming off ball screens, like that's the move you're going to. And I see a lot of, especially lefties too. Like Isaiah Thomas used to be the king of like the hang dribble cross, or Brunson, he doesn't do the hang dribble as much. But just talk about moves that you use just to play at your pace, bro, and how you actually work on that too over the summers.
Yeah, like I've just seen videos, whether it's on like Twitter or Instagram, of trainers talking about pace and how, you know, when I'm doing my ball handling drills, I'm not going fast. It's like fast, slow, hang, fast. Like that's the difference between, like, you know, lulling your defender to sleep and now you're going to attack. It's not, you can't just play at one pace. That makes it pretty easy to guard. You know, if you play with strength and you play, you know, like I was saying, fast, slow, and then fast, like that's when you're going to make moves. That's when you're going to get by guys. So yeah, I mean, it's something I kind of figured out, I would say, in the middle of like my college experience. And it's been super helpful for me. Understanding, like, once you get in here, like there I was a quick up, but, you know, I also could have went back. I could have posted up from the block or something and spun back. Like, taking your time. I see a lot of people really rush their finishes around the basket when at the end of the day you can take your time and, you know, make the defender guard. That's a big thing.
Yeah, for sure, bro. And like you said, you get to your Barkley post a lot too. And what teams are starting to do is, well, I don't know if they've been doing this the whole year, but sending two if they got a guard on you, and then you got shooters on the outside. But I like what you said, like in your drills, you going fast, slow, because you're not the fastest guy, but you could still get by guys just because you're playing with a different type of speed at different points in the game. So that's high level for sure. Get into this next one. On the back. Pro. That's tough. You don't gotta give me a read, but that shit just tough. I run it back. That's, I mean, Brunson, bro. That's Brunson.
That's a shot I practice a lot. I love that shot, the one leg fade. So that's just, you know, tons of reps. And there was actually good defense by them. They cut me off twice, but you know, two counters. The defender, it's going to be tough for them to, you know, to guard that shot.
For sure. Coach Reilly was cool with you taking one leg middies and stuff.
I wasn't doing that my freshman year, I would probably say, or my sophomore year. But, you know, as you progress, you know, it's fun because you get more and more freedom to take shots like that. If you show you can make them, Coach Reilly will let you shoot them. But, you know, yeah.
Get some passing in too. That's one thing I like about your passing too. You pass, like, I don't want to say aggressively, but it's like when you know your read, you're throwing it on a missile.
Yeah. I was a baseball guy for growing up. I love in transition when I get it on my left hand, I'm throwing it like a baseball player. Like there was a clip versus Rochester, I threw it across the entire court. I love playing fast, and I
Shane,
love.
why you bringing that up, bro? I had the clip later.
Oh, you had it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see it. But yeah,
All
yeah.
right, we'll get into this next one. I'll watch it and then I got a thought. Tough. One thing, bro, is like, I don't teams in the tournament. I might be helping you guys out, but don't go zone against Chicago and Shane Regan, bro. I feel like you're extremely good at the high post, but what is your read like when you catch it here? You just really just see it, given what the defense gives you, or you have specific like, all right, this is my first move, second move. Talk about your process in the post as a guard.
Yeah, I mean, in the NESCAC, we played against like College, which was a 2-3 zone, and I was always involved in kind of getting in that middle, and that's how you're gonna shred the zone. For me, like if I turn and I look and I see one-on-one, I'm pretty confident I'll be able to score. But you also have to see everyone around, and then once the ball gets into that middle, ideally they're gonna all fan out, they're gonna cut, find a space. And here I was just kind of dribbling, probing, and then it was a great cut by Joe. I was able to find him.
Bro, I gotta say, I got some friends over at College, but that zone was the most annoying zone that I have ever seen or played against, bro.
Yep. Yeah, that shit was tough. That was tough, and that's all they did. I think they switched. They're finally running some man now.
Really?
But yeah, that gave us problems. My junior year, we lost to them. I think maybe one other year we did.
And, bro, they just scream in, out, in the whole game, bro. That shit's annoying.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy.
Another thing, it's not an assist off the inbounds, but you getting a lot of assists like as the inbounder. Your IQ is high level, but I'm gonna stop glazing you and just let you talk about it.
Yeah, I love. That's another just kind of reading the zone, reading the high post.
That's a good set from Coach McGrath. It's nothing too complicated, but
yep, for sure.
Good.
Put that in before the game.
Here Shane go ruining the clips.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about before. Once I get in my left hand, I'm looking to fling it up the court. That's actually one of my favorite, maybe my favorite pass of the year.
Okay, that's tough. I had to search for that one a little bit, so shout out me. But this is my favorite clip of yours, though. Oh my,
Yeah, there's actually a clip of that on Instagram, and some of the comments were saying I carried, but I mean that's just like the hang dribble that we were talking about. I don't know, I might have carried. Who knows?
Where? Hold on, let's.
That looks clean.
That's clean.
They slowed it down a little bit. So I
basket.
think that's what they were talking about.
He's dead though. Oh my.
Nah, he almost
That's
fell.
tough. That's tough, Shane. So transitioning, obviously you've been coached by two really, really good coaches, two legends in their own right at their own schools. Like Coach McGrath at UChicago, he's been there for like 30-something years, all-time winningest coach. I think he's 3-time UAA Coach of the Year. Shout out him. And then Coach Reilly, like that's my guy. I don't have to say too much about him. I mean, he was a legend at Bates, and then he went to Wesleyan, turned that program around as well. One funny statistic, he broke the single-season wins record at Wesleyan 4 different times in his career. That's unheard of, but just talk about being coached by them, what makes them different, what makes them both good in their own right, just being coached by Coach Reilly and Coach McGrath.
Yeah. Starting with Coach Reilly, I was super lucky. The relationship that we had really grew, and it got to a point where, I could almost finish his sentences. Like, we really had a great bond on and off the court. First and foremost, he's a great person. He treats all of his players with, tons of respect. He does a great job, really setting standards and, making a great culture at Wesleyan. So I was super lucky to have him. And then on the court, he, through injuries and through some of my earlier struggles, he always believed in me, and he helped me a ton as a player. I learned so much from him, and I'm really grateful. And obviously, his track record speaks for itself. He really turned around Wesleyan into really like a powerhouse in Division III. And then, Coach McGrath has been great too. The way our relationship has developed over time, it's definitely was a new experience for me, obviously being coached by him, and also him coaching a player like me. And we've developed so much, and we both have this extreme competitiveness and wanting to win. So whether we agree or disagree, we have that common goal of knowing that we're super invested in winning, which is really fun. And what he does for his players on the court as well as off the court is one of a kind in Division III. The experience that we get, the way that we get treated is awesome. And the UAA has been a great kind of change of scenery for me and a new experience for me. So I've been super lucky to have both coaches.
Coach Reilly, I've never met Coach McGrath, but Coach Reilly, man, he's a one-of-a-kind person. He was one of the first people that we ever had on the pod, bro. And that interview, kind of the same thing happened where the Wi-Fi was kind of shaky at the beginning. But Coach Reilly was like, nah, let's keep recording. We're good. Let's get it done. And we got it done, bro. He talked to us for a long time, and definitely a memorable interview. So I can't imagine what it was like being coached by him. Definitely a solid dude. But I'm wondering, like, I want you to just give us a perspective on last year, right? Because in many ways, that Wesleyan team accomplished pretty much everything that a college basketball player would probably want to accomplish, bro. You guys were 30-2, right? Like Shane, Nikki was killing last year for y'all. Obviously you, and you guys made it all the way to the Final Four. So just talk about that run, your memories from that run, any crazy stories you may have, and yeah, all that good stuff, bro.
Yeah, man, I think to fully understand how special that year was, you have to look at the year before. The year before, we essentially had the same personnel outside of a couple, freshmen that we added. Oscar Edelman was a great piece for us, as well as Zach Walensky. They came in and they were great role players for us last year. But outside of that, it was essentially the same exact people. So, that kind of just speaks to, the way we attack the offseason. In Division III, once the season ends, you're not required to do anything. So, it really just speaks to, us being a group of guys who love basketball and really value winning. In the spring, our pickups were super intense. We would be playing pickups like it was a Final Four game. Like it was so fun. And then in the summer, everyone's getting after it. Everyone's working on their game. And then, when we came back in the fall, we were ready to go. And, we just kept, our motto was keep stacking. We just kept stacking really good days. And, we thought we would be really good. We had tons of talent. Obviously, Nikki was like a great player. I was so lucky to play with him. He's like maybe the best player ever to play at Wesleyan. Like his career was amazing from his freshman year. And on top of that, we had tons of guys who played a great role. So it was a super fun year. And also, the way that the rest of the school popped out for us was super special. Like we had some crowds. Like Silhouette was definitely the craziest Division III crowd I've ever seen personally. So that was another fun part of it, to just see how we were able to kind of connect the campus as a whole, and the way they supported us as well.
Now I'm already knowing. I have been to Wesleyan before, so I know it gets fun out there. So I'm sure the celebrations must have been great, bro. So you
Absolutely.
So after that, Final Four run, you go into the transfer portal. Talk to us about that, bro. Like what went into that decision to go into the transfer portal, but also what schools were looking at you? Like what schools did you give other considerations to? Kind of curious about that.
Yeah, I knew I had this extra year. My freshman year, I tore my labrum in my hip, so I only played a few games that year. My sophomore year I also had a knee surgery too, but my freshman year is where I got the extra year. So I knew, obviously, I'm so passionate about basketball, and I knew that I would have some great opportunities because I was on really good teams. I was able to have some individual success. I was kind of hoping like I could step away from basketball because I've just been going basketball for so long. But right when the Final Four ended, like the portal was opening that week, so I was like, all right, I have to lock in on this. And I was kind of in agreement with my family. We wanted to put the academic piece in really high consideration in my decision, knowing that basketball would really help me get into a place like University of Chicago, being in the Booth Business School. But I was really open, and I was excited to kind of see the opportunities. I talked to coaches at all three levels and kind of just came to the decision that Chicago would be the best fit for me long term. I was not a guy that was like, I have to go to Division One. If the right opportunity presented itself, I definitely would have been open. But I know what a great place Division Three is, and I really come to love it. So the experience has been great so far, and that's kind of just how the process went, I guess.
Yeah, real quick, I'm gonna just say this statement and pass it to Ruda, but I think I said this the first time we recorded, but not many people are leaving college with the network of Wesleyan and UChicago, so beyond basketball, you're gonna be super set, bro.
For sure.
But go ahead, Ruda.
Hopefully.
Nah, I mean, Wesleyan and Chicago are both great schools, so KJ is right on the money with that. I wanted to, before we transition, and KJ has a question, it's gonna, and wrap it up, but you played in the NESCAC for 4 years. I know you were injured one of them. So who are your favorite matchups in the NESCAC, bro? Like, I'm wondering about that aspect because you're a really competitive person, so I know you had, some great battles, during that time.
Yeah. I would say, obviously, our rival is 100% Trinity. And we were, it was awesome that kind of when we were at our peak last year, they were at their peak too. It was two great teams, and we don't like each other very much. Obviously, we compete, but there's an appreciation, I think, from both ends, and that we really push each other, and it's always fun competing against them. Outside of that, you have the little 3 games, so that's a little bit of extra juice. My junior year, we were 0-4 in the little 3, so we were definitely little bro in that. And then we turn around and beat them 5 times. Yeah, 5 times, including the playoffs. So that was another fun part of the season. But yeah, I would definitely say just the Trinity matchup as a whole was the most exciting, I would say.
Yeah, I have a few questions for you, and you don't got to be too transparent, but all right, so how deep is this rivalry? So you're in a spot and you see a Henry Vetter, is it like, what's good, bro, or is like, don't talk to me?
Nah, I mean, if I saw him, I would say what's up.
I got you.
Seems like a fine dude. I mean, I don't know him personally. But.
And then what like how does that rivalry get built for you? Like, obviously every conference has their rivalries, but I feel like in the NESCAC it's a little bit more intensified. So as a freshman, are you just like baked into, oh, I hate Trinity off rip, or did that kind of like develop through the years for you?
I think with Trinity being so close to us, that's a piece of it, as well as us kind of both playing styles that really kind of clash together. Like, they play a very physical style of defense, and we do the same thing. So when we match up against each other, it's always going to be a war. And I realized that early. Like, my freshman year, they were not very good, but they gave us a team that ended up winning the NESCAC, was like a top 5 team. They took us right to the end. And same thing, like my junior year, when they were in the Final Four, we weren't very good, Like, we took them to overtime. We lost by a few points in the playoffs. Like, regardless, you know that that game is going to be a battle.
Nah, I respect that. I was just curious about the rivalry a little bit. And this is going to be the last question before we get into rapid fire. But obviously, a super popular discussion in Division III spaces is who has the better conference. Is it the NESCAC? Is it the UAA? Right now, I think like 3 or 4 NESCACs are getting into the tournament. I think in the UAA, 3 or 4 as well. So every year you guys are dominating the rest of the other conferences and have a lot of teams going to the tournament. But you have a unique experience playing in both conferences, and you're the best guy to ask, like, what conference is better, bro?
Yeah, this is a very hot topic in Division III basketball. And like you said, I kind of have a unique perspective. Not many guys get to play in both leagues. What I would say is they're different in terms of how the teams play. The NESCAC is definitely a slower pace. But, I also acknowledge the NESCAC is, I would say, a higher level of defense. The NESCAC, you look at the scores, they're in the 60s, sometimes even in the 50s. I mean, there's definitely outliers. There's teams like Colby that's not going to play any defense, and you might score like 90 to 100 points, and they're going to score a lot of points too. But I would say it's definitely more attention on the defensive side of things. But, in the UAA, you have teams, like at Emory, who just plays up and down, can put 100 on you. There's other teams like that, like Rochester plays pretty fast. Case, they want to get up and down. So it's definitely a different style of basketball. In terms of what conference is better, that's tough. That's tough. I guess last year you could say the NESCAC was better. I think we proved that in the tournament. We beat Emory, and then Trinity beat NYU. At least at the top. I don't know from top to bottom. But, this year is very close. I think 5 NESCAC teams. I just saw, 5 NESCAC teams in the tournament, 4 UAA teams. So, we'll see. Maybe we'll get those matchups. Maybe I'll get to play another NESCAC team again. So that would be funny.
Bro, that would definitely be fire if you got to play one of those NESCAC teams. I'm not gonna lie.
It might happen.
For sure. Let's see what goes on with it. But definitely been a great episode, bro. We got rapid fire though, and starting 5 after this. So you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So first rapid fire question I got for you. So you played in a number of different Division III arenas, and this is a question I usually ask Division I players. But we got to ask you, what's been the best D3 gym that you've ever played in?
Illinois Wesleyan, I would say. We played again at Illinois Wesleyan, and that atmosphere was awesome, and that gym was crazy. So, shout out Bob Quillman if he sees this. I'm sure he'll like that answer.
shout out Bob for sure. Great dude. Next rapid fire question I got for you. I don't know if you're into I'll just ask this. Do you have like a favorite jersey that you've seen, like jersey colorway that you've ever seen playing Division III basketball, or nah, you don't really pay attention to that type of stuff?
Favorite jersey
besides Wesleyan or Chicago?
Besides Wesleyan, Tufts jerseys were pretty cool. I like that light blue, like the North Carolina kind of Tar Heel vibe. That was pretty tough.
And then last rapid fire question for you: what's been your favorite UAA trip this year?
New York, and Boston by far.
The New York one, I was hoping it was like a little bit more lit, but the snow messed it up. That everybody, the game got moved earlier. Not everybody could come, but your guys from Wesleyan still pulled up. That was love, bro.
Yeah, I had like 40 something people there, across like my dad's, my mom's friends, my sister, some of my old friends. So that was dope, and obviously getting the win and playing well was fun too.
Yeah, bro, had a calm 28. But we got to end this episode with a starting 5 edition. So as a coach, you're building a lineup, point guard through center. Who's your lineup going to be? And this edition is going to be the best Division III players. I'll just say that, like, you've either played against or played with. So you could add Wesleyan guys, you could add Chicago, the field, like, freshman year to now, who you got?
Okay. So my point guard, obviously, I'm going with my guy Nicky, no doubt. At the 2, I'll probably go with another former teammate. I'll put Ben there. At the 3, I would go with Azor. I wasn't playing in the game. I was hurt, but I think he gave a calm triple-double to us, and we lost. That was one of our only losses that year. I would at the another wing. I'm gonna go with Sam. Yeah, Sam Pete.
Got to.
Obviously playing pro in, I think Portugal now.
Yeah.
So I got to go with him. He's a bucket.
One of one.
And then at the 5, I would put Alex Sobel. I would say that's the best 5 I've ever seen at this level.
That's tough. That's tough. Real quick before
I like that lineup.
Yeah, that's a tough lineup.
That's good off the dome.
Real quick before we get out of here, so last summer Sam was talking spicy on the pod about old Wesleyan would smack these guys by 20, and I was defending you guys. I was like, nah, last year's Wesleyan team they mixed things up. Coach Reilly, they had different backcourts. So what's your stance on this, real quick?
Yeah, I mean, I just look at the facts. I mean, I don't really need to argue. We were 30-2. We were like the number 1 team for most of the year. Our 2 losses were to like a team that won the national championship, so it wasn't like they were bad losses. We definitely did not lose in the second round to RPI. I'll say that. But that was a super talented team. It would be a great game. I'm not going to say that we would blow them out. It would be a great game, but I'm taking us all day, no doubt. You got to ask that to Coach Reilly.
Yeah,
that's the person I
might screen record this part and send it to him. Like, what's your stance? Put us all in a group chat.
Yeah, let's do it.
But that's gonna do it for another episode of Not Even D2. We appreciate you getting on short notice, and good luck in the tourney, bro. Wishing you the best.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Jane, Regan, everyone, that's our conversation with bro, and this was a really good episode. It's kind of funny. When we were trying to schedule, I texted the group chat with all 3 of us. I was like, yo, you guys trying to re-lock in for the episode? He was like, let's just do it tonight. So it was kind of like we didn't prepare for it much. It was just a natural combo, and it ended up being really smooth. But for people wondering about UChicago's path, they got Penn State Barron first round, and then the winner of Wisconsin-Platteville and Otterbein. I think Otterbein was a surprise winning their conference, but Wisconsin-Platteville, assuming they blow by Penn State Barron, but Wisconsin-Platteville, they're like 9-5 in the WIAC, but the WIAC's super good. But I could definitely see UChicago making a bit of a run. I mean, I don't want to say they're not gonna see anybody too good, but you're not seeing any NESCAC or UAA unless you get to like the Elite 8 Final Four. So I'm definitely rooting for UChicago along with NYU. But shout out to our boy Shane Regan if you got any extra thoughts about this EP.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely hope Shane gets that rematch against some of those NESCAC teams. I'm looking out in the tournament, but yeah, UChicago is not a sleeper team by any stretch of the word. They are top team in this tournament, and they can go far. They can go as far as Shane and Nick Roper take them. Honestly.
Yeah, for sure. But that's gonna do it for another episode of Not Even D2. Appreciate you guys tuning in week to week. We got another banger dropping next week with someone leading in the top 25 of all divisions and scoring. He's killing right now. So make sure you subscribe. Go follow us at Not Even D2, and we'll see you next week.